On today's show, Tesla publishes another great quarter of results. A fantastic new camping trailer or caravan for EVs breaks the records thanks to its onboard batteries, and the world's automakers flock to get some winter testing at one of New Zealand's best winter wonderlands. These stories and more coming next. This is Ecotricity's EcoTEC Roundup show from New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company. We only source from wind, hydro and solar, and we are the leading supplier of electricity to EVs in New Zealand. Search today at ecotricity.co.nz. Welcome back to another weekly roundup in the world of clean cars and green energy. Thanks for joining me. At the start of the week, Tesla issued its second quarter earnings, posting a record number of vehicle deliveries, revenue and earnings. Total production for the quarter rose to 260,421 cars, with the overwhelming majority of those being Model 3 and Model Y, while deliveries broke new records at 201,250 cars, up 122% year-on-year. Tesla's automotive gross margin grew too as economies of scale came into play. Despite a noticeable drop in the number of regulatory credits Tesla sold to rival automakers and challenges with chip shortages, Tesla finished the quarter with a total profit of $1.6 billion, $1.45 per share using the adjusted method, and $1.14 billion, $1.02 profit using the unadjusted method. Nicely done, Tesla. On Monday this week, I and the rest of the team headed off to the Portland International Raceway, where we were guests at Arcimoto's FUV and Friends summer event. There we got to see and ride the production version of the Arcimoto Roadster, we saw the Arcimoto Flatbed, and some really fun and custom one-off FUVs. The company also surprised everyone by showcasing a semi-autonomous Arcimoto that could be remote controlled, as well as announcing a truly ingenious brand new software update that hopefully next year will enable torque vectoring and drive-by-wire capabilities in every new and existing Arcimoto FUV using just 2 motors, making it easier and safer to drive and eliminating the need for a separate steering motor. We've got a bunch of stuff from the event to share, including an interview with the one and only Sandy Munro, so keep your eyes peeled for that over the next few weeks. The UK's Science Museum is among one of the most celebrated and respected in the world, and over the years it's held some truly amazing events and exhibitions. But this week it and Shell are in the spotlight after claims that it signed a gagging clause with Shell over sponsorship of one of its exhibitions. The subject of the gagging clause, the Our Future Planet exhibition, an exhibition featuring carbon capture and storage technologies, as well as some climate change solutions inspired by the natural world. As sponsor of the exhibition, Shell reportedly required that the Science Museum make no statement that could be seen as damaging to Shell's reputation. When dealing with an exhibition about climate change, that's a big problem, and many boycotts are now in full force against Shell, including its various charging networks for EVs. A fire broke out at the end of the week at the Tesla Big Battery Mega Pack energy storage facility in Moorabool, South Australia. As reported by local media, multiple fire crews have been working hard to contain the blaze and prevent it from spreading to other battery packs. The facility had not yet been fully commissioned and was undergoing final testing when the fire occurred. The cause of the fire has yet to be determined. As you probably guess, we filmed this show a day ahead of release, and as such, we can't promise that we have the most up-to-date information concerning the fire. However, when we have more, we will of course share. We're often asked by viewers why you can't build a caravan or camping trailer for our North American audience with a battery pack and motors integrated into it to make it easier to tow behind an EV. And the answer, of course, is that there's no reason. In fact, several folks over the years have built their own DIY camping trailers offering just that. German company Dethleffs had thought the same thing too, building the e-Home Caravan, a concept that could power itself along the road behind an electric car. Now in production form, it's just broken a range record, helping an e-Tron Sportback travel 386 kilometres, 240 miles across the Alps on a single charge, with the car using 82 kilowatt-hours of energy and the trailer using 74 kilowatt-hours of electricity. That's impressive. There's nothing worse than being asked by someone what it's like working for a particular company when you're on the clock, especially if you're worried about the implications that you'll be in trouble if you say the wrong thing. But drivers on the Boring Company loop in Las Vegas have a lot more to worry about, remembering the script provided to them by the Boring Company, telling them what they can and can't say about working for the company. In addition to some fairly prescriptive stock responses they're supposed to give when asked about the tunnel and its safety, a report from TechCrunch details how drivers are expected to refer to their boss Elon Musk as awesome, inspiring, and motivating. If they're asked if they like working for him, drivers are expected to say that he's a great leader that motivates staff to do great work. Company scripts are sadly all too common, but this one gives me all kinds of North Korea vibes. The CHAdeMO DC quick charging standard is now more than 10 years old and predates the CCS Type 1 and CCS Type 2 connections that most automakers prefer to use on electric cars today. Over the years, it's been slowly dropped outside of Japan as automakers switched to the two approved standards, one for Europe and one for North America, but nevertheless, charging providers have generally, reluctantly, continued to provide CHAdeMO charging. Now that's going away, with Electrify America announcing that it's no longer going to install CHAdeMO stations at locations from 2022 onwards. This is terrible news for anyone with a Nissan Leaf or Mitsubishi i-MiEV, and I think the only hope for them is that someone comes up with an appropriate adapter to let them use CCS infrastructure. Tesla is rumoured to be changing its retail strategy in an attempt to streamline its purchasing process, save money, and give customers an even easier buying experience. According to Electrek, it's looking to move away from flashy mall-based showrooms and towards more affordable locations, turning them into delivery centres where customers can just turn up to pick up their new cars. Additionally, it's working to change how its test drive fleet works, moving to remote management of test fleets and operating test drives where convenient to customers. Given that the majority of Tesla customers are already carrying out their ordering online, it gives Tesla a way to significantly save pennies on its retail locations while still providing customer sales and service. It's not quite the move that Tesla tried in 2019 to end its retail locations completely, but it seems a far more logical, better thought out alternative. One of the largest problems with on-street public electric vehicle charging infrastructure, especially in large cities, is that it takes up a lot of space and can affect parking patterns. But UK company Trojan Energy has just launched the first of a new type of charging point in Brent, Essex. Rather than have a stationary charge station, Trojan installs a row of road-adjacent power points flush the pavement that interlock with a removable, accessibility-approved charging pole with attached charge cable. Customers, who get their own pole when they sign up and credit their account with funds, then attach the pole to the socket in order to start charging. It's less intrusive than a dedicated charging station, and it doesn't require special parking regulations to use. While it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere right now, it's well into winter in the Southern Hemisphere, and that means for automakers looking for some extra winter testing, New Zealand is the place to be. We reported a few weeks ago that Rivian was already on its way to New Zealand to do some of its final winter testing for the R1T and R1S, and now we've got proof of those vehicles testing on the slopes of Wanaka, New Zealand, as well as video of the Xpeng P7 and Tesla Model 3 doing the same thing. Yes, Tesla's still doing winter testing too. Huge thanks to our very own Al Yates here at Ecotricity for keeping his eyes peeled while having some winter ski fun, and let us know if you see any more cars in and around Wanaka or indeed any other ski resort. Ever since its Quattro first burst onto the scene in the 80s, Audi has held a long-established connection with the world of rallying. And now, to take part in one of the world's most iconic and challenging off-road events, the Dakar Rally, Audi has unveiled an all-new series hybrid rally car. Called the Audi RSQ e-tron, it has an all-electric 500-kilowatt drivetrain driven by a 50-kilowatt-hour battery pack and TFSI engine. While we would rather see an all-electric vehicle compete, the Dakar's incredibly long stages, upwards of 800 kilometres or 500 miles per day across some really remote landscapes, has led Audi to reach this compromise for now. Given that Dakar wants its races to be powered by green energy by 2030, it's no wonder that automakers are starting to electrify their entries, and that's frankly how it should be. And finally, Volkswagen CEO Herbert Diess has been undergoing something of a image adjustment in recent years, going from a fairly traditional automotive CEO into something a little closer to Elon Musk. He's been more active on social media, has engaged in more online interviews and events, and this week he took to the water to thank the Volkswagen Group for the amount of work they've managed to achieve this year on an all-electric surfboard developed by a skunkworks team at Audi. We first saw this back in CES a few years ago, but to his credit, Diess showed his skills in the water and seemed to be enjoying himself. I wonder what he'll do next. I guess going up into space is out of the question, unless Elon could hook him up. And on that note, we are done for the day. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already to this channel and hit the bell so you don't miss out on our next videos. And if you haven't already, please do consider switching to New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company. It is super easy to make the change, and if you do, you'll be helping New Zealand wean itself off dirty fossil fuels and onto clean, green, renewable energy that will keep the land beautiful for generations to come. I'll be back soon with more great goodness, but until then, I'm Nikki Gordon Bloomfield. Ka kite. See you next time.